Veil and fly to its election posters for Cape Town. The party leadership will also talk about the importance of the upcoming voter registration weekend. We now go back to our reporter Abra Barbier. Abra, you seem to have your hands full this morning, as just a short while ago you spoke to the mayoral candidate who said that Cape Town is the best governed city in the country. Who do you have there now?
You know, I was going to say to you, Jordan here, Lewis has a big task ahead of him here in Cape Town, but somebody with an even bigger task ahead of him is, of course, the DA party leader, John Steenhuisen. I'm going to just walk up to him. John, thank you so much for speaking to us today. I was just telling my colleagues now, Jordan has a big task ahead of him. He's got a busy few weeks ahead of him. Your job is, I think, even bigger than that. Just tell me, how's it been? I know the campaign is just basically kicked off. How's it been going thus far?
It's been going well. I mean, I've been on the campaign trail for the last 4 months. I've been visiting towns and cities across South Africa and prepping our troops for the campaign that lies ahead. And I'm really excited about the reception's been very good. The crisis in local government isn't in the metros. The crisis in government is in small town South Africa, and it's been devastating to see the complete collapse in small towns across the length and breadth of South Africa. Those people have an opportunity to vote for a government that gets things done. And so we've been taking that message of hope and change to them. But the big thing's going to be registration. I think this election is going to turn on who can register their voters in bigger numbers. And I think that's going to give any party that's able to register its voters in bigger numbers an advantage. So people need to get out there and register over this coming registration weekend.
Based on what I've seen and heard and read, South Africans are very disillusioned. John, why do you think that? And I'm talking about in the Western Cape, in Cape Town as well, countrywide. Why do you think that is?
Because I think they've had 2 decades of failed policies, and it's reached a tipping point. Infrastructure's failing, the money's running out, service delivery is on the decline. People feel unsafe and insecure, and they don't feel that the country's moving in the right direction. And that's on every metric you look at, and every bit of polling that's done, the majority of South Africans feel the country's moving in the wrong direction. Here is an opportunity in this election to draw a line in the sand and to turn things around, to ensure that we are able to get things moving again in South Africa, to get the country moving forward again. And that change is going to start at local government. This is the coalface of service delivery. It's water, electricity, sanitation, safety, transport, all of those key issues that are going to be so important to changing people's lives.
I want to come back to the small towns, and they were in a bad state before COVID, and they've now basically been decimated. John, what is the DA's plan in those small towns?
Well, look, what we want to have to do is there's no one party that's going to be able to turn things around there overnight. What we want to do is create an ecosystem of partners, organised business, organised labour, agricultural organisations in those small towns, service clubs, civil society, to come together and pitch in and make a difference. What's been devastating for me to see is in many of those small towns, the local community have stepped in to get the sewage works working, get the water works working. If I was a mayor in that small town, I would welcome this. What have we seen? The council's going to court to push those people out from fixing the water. In Costa, where I was just 2 weeks ago, they got the waterworks up and running again. The municipality took it over from them. Within 2 weeks, the taps had run dry again. We need to bring a whole of society approach and change the ecosystem around which local government operates, and understand that it's not something that any party can do alone. It's got to bring in expertise and assistance from civil society, business, labour and other organisations.
John, thank you so much for your time. That was John Steenhuisen, DA national leader, and I'm sure we'll be speaking to him a lot over the next few weeks. Back to you in the studio.
Abra, thank you so much for that. That's my colleague Abra Barbier in Cape Town. He just spoke to Democratic Alliance leader John Steenhuisen, who said that the bigger crisis is not only in the country's metros and cities, but also in the small towns, where we've seen a total collapse of the small towns, where residents of those small towns crying foul that there's no basic services, there's no water, there's no sanitation, no electricity, the roads are an absolute mess. That's our reporter Abra Barbier will definitely be crossing over to her in just a moment. But for now, let's take a look at the story of